These are the residential barracks inside the leafy Midstream Estate in Johannesburg, where security guards say they were told to vaccinate or leave.
The letter that was sent to us by the landlord to inform us that should we decline vaccinating by the 31 August 2021, we should therefore be evicted from the barracks, or our lease contract will be terminated by the end of September 2021. So I've reported the matter to the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission have communicated with me via emails. I've given my contacts, so they have called me.
This is the letter dated July the 9th, which clearly states that all those security guards wishing to stay at the barracks must be jabbed. After a huge outcry, the estate management has now backtracked. Well, the management of the estate has conceded that it could have handled the situation much better. It says those employees who decide they do not want to vaccinate can stay. Do you accept that you made a mistake that should not have happened?
Well, for us, this is not permanent accommodation. So the guys typically stay here when we're on duty, so we don't have to commute from their permanent homes. And we believe that since everyone has got a permanent home, this is just temporary accommodation. They've got an alternative. And we wanted to make sure that it's a communal living arrangement, and we want to make sure that the majority of the guys are safe.
But do you concede that you made a mistake in the issuing of that? Because
that is why the letter was withdrawn.
We were particularly concerned about the plight of security guards. Because of power relations, they wouldn't be in a position to be able to bargain or negotiate with the landlord or the employer. We were further concerned that their rights could potentially be trampled upon if the commission didn't intervene. We had already made a determination that this was a potentially litigious matter which we would have wanted to take to court as a test case. But we are heartened by the posture that has been taken by the property management company.
But security guards say they want the assurance in writing.
Because this is a residential tenant, there are two issues at stake here. Number one, the landlord cannot simply evict if an individual wishes not to be vaccinated, because in terms of our constitutional rights in this country, you have a right not to be vaccinated. That's the first issue. So the intention to evict people from the barracks, while it can be understood from a health perspective, is simply not enforceable in a landlord-tenant agreement. These individuals have been employed as security guards, and therefore this entire relationship is now subject, employer-employee relationship, is subject to the bargaining council for the security sector. And I would imagine you would want comment from the bargaining council of the security sector, but they would certainly agree that the right not to be vaccinated is a constitutional right in this country.
Labour experts say workplaces too should understand the rights of workers.
Even if there is such a mandatory vaccine policy within the employer, this does not automatically grant the employer carte blanche to simply dismiss any employees who nonetheless refuse to be vaccinated, and a proper process would have to be followed in order to determine whether or not such refusal was in fact reasonable. It could be based on religious grounds or medical reasons, and those would have to be assessed. In the event that an employee does suffer a side effect from a vaccine which was administered to the employee as a result of a mandatory vaccination policy, then they would first of all be entitled to claim through the vaccination fund, which is to be set up by the Department of Health, and they may well have a claim in terms of the ordinary compensation fund for workmen's compensation.
Griselda Lewis, SABC News in Johannesburg.